Welcome back to episode 5 of the Daily High with Tone Vays and Matt McGregor. There's something happening in the market. It's moving ever so slightly, and I'm very excited about that. Today's format, we're going to try and be a bit more fast paced. There's not going to be as much ramble before the show from some notes we've got. We have an excellent note that came in about the trading competition. Today's trading competition is going to start the same as every other one has. But moving forward, at the end of the show, we will put on a brand new trade, which will be a 24-hour trade. It'll close on tomorrow's show, and we'll do it like this from now on. The 45-minute time frame is just too short to see any kind of movement in the market. So I think this is a better option. Tone Vase, how are you, mates?
I'm good. I'm good. Ready for the show, but we're still going to do our 45-minute trade today, but this will be the last one. And then we're going to enter one tonight, and then we're going to check it on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, can't wait, mate. Well, without any further ado,
All right.
Tone,
Am
would
I
you like to
going
put your
first
trade
then?
on? Yeah, you're on, mate.
Yeah,
It's your
let's do
turn.
it. All right. Our show started 5 minutes late, but that's okay. So this is my short-term chart. I know this is a 4-hour chart. We can go down to a 1-hour chart. And I'm just going to use the 1-hour chart here. I am going long. I'm going to open float. I haven't changed it from yesterday. We're looking at the prices like 43,050. So the price is 43.
43.
43,050. I am going to go 25x long. I feel good about this for the next 45 minutes. And that is a buy, and I'm in. We are 43.0. Yep, right there.
Take a few minutes to explain your methodology here, Tone, what
Sure.
you're thinking.
You can see by this blue line that we are hitting this area of resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now for the 7th time, it's a green star candle on the 1-hour chart. I am comfortable with this, even though we are dropping now to 43,030. I really, really like it here to break out and find resistance at the next moving average right there on the hourly chart.
Fantastic, mate. Well, give me back screen share, and
You.
I'll put my bad boy on.
Oh
Ready?
shit, hold on. I knew there was something I didn't do.
That's all right.
Okay. All right, go for it.
All right, let's rock. All right. So as I open the settings of float, I am 1,043,050 with 30x leverage long.
Damn it.
We're in the same predicament that we're in last night, predicament or interesting point, that if we go down at this point, Tone wins, and if we go up, I win because I'm over leveraged than he is. So my trade is on from the same point. I'll run you through what I'm thinking as well, and I might as well take the first stint here as I drop float away, and I drop the MRI away. All right, so I've put some lines in here, and they may be arbitrary lines, but this is where I see it. I'm on a 4-day chart. No, thank you. I want to look at a weekly chart. This is what I'm seeing right now for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. The blue line that you see right here is a real trade in the real world that I'm in. It's not this mock trade. It's a trade that I was in, the same trade as from yesterday. This is my buy zone in the blue line right here, and I'll explain that on the 4-hour time frame why I've taken that trade. This purple line for me is I would consider if we get back above that, things are looking good once again, and that's on the daily time frame. I'll go into that in a minute. The red line here is my point of no return. This is the point where I'm no longer bullish on Bitcoin in the mid to short term. I'm still bullish for the year, but I could see that if we come down below 40,400 this week, and every week, remember, this trails the price. So next week it'll be at, let's say, 41,200 or whatever it is. We'll see at the time. That is my point where I would close my leverage long trades. So I love this position to be in because the point from like my entry to my stop loss, as you know, if you follow my work, is quite near. So if we get above 36,666, and I'll show you why I've chosen that number. That is because if we get above these marks here, we are above every moving average on the daily time frame on Alpha Numerics. We are inches away from a bearish cross, which is okay. It just means that if you weren't in a trade right now, then perhaps, and you were looking at more of a daily time frame, this is a place where you wouldn't want to enter the trade. Once that recovers and the price gets above here and we get a bullish cross, that's when you could look to go back in if you want to be more comfortable. But I don't need to see 47,000 for me to be bullish on this trade. I'm happy with that 43 44 mark, that 43 600 mark. Tone, do you have anything to say about that, mate?
No, I'm with you on that. Mine is just a little bit higher. You are on the daily chart. You're looking at different moving averages than me. You're bullish, but for you to be bullish, you have to cross that 43,661. For me, it's just a little bit higher. For me, it's around the $44,000 range, like a close above 44,000 on both a daily scale or a weekly scale. So, or I should say, on a weekly closing basis, or several days closes above 44,000. I'm just a smidge higher than you, but it's the same thought process. Also, when you're looking at your red line, you have 1, 2, 3 prior tops that are higher than that, not including the really big one. So not including January 8th area. You still have 3 tops that are higher than that. I want to be absolutely sure we're closing at least at the second highest area. So for me, we're just, at least getting us over 44, 44.2 gets us above the 2 tops from December.
Well, I think that's the key point, that you're being conservative, and I agree with everything that you're saying. But in my mind, I entered trades way, way earlier. So for me to get back above on a daily time frame, all the moving averages, that just takes me away. That calms the nerves, that there's no reason to freak out about it. And it's interesting for me because we could easily pull up now to this exact same point, and that be the point of rejection and come back lower. So I need to see a nice daily close above this. 44 is the same point. It's the same point. So, but going back down to the 4-hour time frame, this is what we've been watching this entire breakdown, correction, whatever you want to call it, period, where I loaded up here on the blue line. I wanted to see us get out of the wave, get out. That means we have to clear the 30 on the 4-hour time frame, clear the 200, which is the top of this line, and start to press up towards the 50. But once again, once we get above that same area, like once on the 4-hour time frame, it looks really clear. Once we start getting above these marks, I can relax about the long-term positions I'm in. And this just short-term swing trade that I'm doing here, I can feel comfortable that I can now set a stop even break loss, a stop even, what's the word I'm looking for? A break even stop loss there, and then I can move it up in time the same way that Tone would do. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm seeing.
I'm
Yeah, go
really
ahead,
liking,
man.
don't switch charts yet. I'm really liking this 4-hour chart because this current 4-hour candle is now breaking like 4 days of closing highs, and the candle is just started. So the candle still has over 3 hours to go, and we're already breaking almost all of those highs from the middle of the month.
Yeah, I mean this is what Tone's talking about here. I mean we're starting to get
Yeah.
above, but and this is what I wanted. I wanted a correction down in, get your good entries, and come out. If we come back up here, to above that 44 mark and above all these parts, all that negativity that's in the Twitter space and whatever now will dissipate, and this would have been a great risk reward trade because of the defined stop loss and my point of no return. That's why I like to take the longer term time frames like the weekly and monthly, and then look for a 4-hour time frame to get these good buy the dip situations. But before everyone kills me in the comments, I'm not married to this. I'm still locked and loaded with this point of no return. As I say, this will raise each week. At some point, that's going to get hit. And you watch me change from 100%, 1000% bullish to I'm no longer bullish like that. So be on your toes. That's all I have to say about Bitcoin right now. Tone, let's have it, mate.
Well, you pretty much covered Bitcoin. We may have some time to talk about other markets. I'm gonna just run through my charts real quick. It is early for me here in Panama, so I haven't really looked at them. The weekly chart is trying to, get some mustard in here to go up, but You see all these closes? So they're right up, right at 44,000. This close was 39,851. This close was 43,942. So I just want to see a weekly close above that area, and that gets me a lot less concerned. So if Bitcoin can prove to me that it's going higher, I will very well be bullish. As far as my allocation is concerned,
So
we have a,
can you go back to the previous chart for a second? Because
yeah,
you have to hit on the point, which I think is the reason the MRI is so bloody powerful. You are in a wait and see week. This week for you is you're out. You're in cash. And this week, it almost doesn't matter what we do on this week. You would have to
correct.
see next week for you is the big show. Because let's say we close above, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we close above that green line you've got in right there this week, well, we start a two above the one, a green star candle on the next candle, which is very, very good for us. But then you could measure it back as well and see where we'd have to close this week for you next week to be a disaster. If we close this week 1, 2, 3, 4 below that green line this week, and then that'll start next week as a red 2 candle, which you'd be looking for further downside. So this week is absolutely
Yeah.
critical
You
at
just
that
saw
green
this
line.
candle flip. You're seeing this candle flip from a red one to a green one. This is why this week for me is always a no trade week. I'm on a wait and see approach. We could get a red star tomorrow. We can get a green next week. We can get a green star next week. So as long as we're staying in this, 42 and a half, between 42 and a half, and 44,000, it's pretty much a no trade for me. But next week could be kicking off really bullish or really bearish. And if it's kicking off really bearish, I'll take more off the table.
I think there's nothing else that needs to be witnessed right now than the MRI on the weekly time frame. That is the most perfect encapsulation of what we're looking at right now. Except if you're using the alpha numerics and you're looking to buy the dip on a 4-hour time frame, that's still a lot more risky than exactly the weekly time frame with the MRI. This week is a no trade zone. Perfect time.
Yep, and here's the daily chart. We are breaking that moving average. We never had a full candle close below the moving average. So technically, this moving average of 50 on the daily scale, simple moving average 50, is still holding the price of Bitcoin. So once again, we wait and see. There is another daily moving average here. That's the 20 period. It's sitting at 43,900. And right above it is my consolidation line at 44,130. I want to see a daily close or two above that 44,130 towards the end of the week, which closes our weekly candle above 44. And then I am looking at this arrow heading towards new all-time highs. And that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. I actually dropped my GBTC chart. Man, I can't wait to see how the ETFs are trading. My last word on Bitcoin was this, Excel spreadsheet I put together. You can see how these ETFs have now accumulated way more Bitcoin than on the first day. I'm looking for updated numbers. And if you look at the Financial Summit Twitter account, which does tweet out financial research every day. Yes, and there it is, Financial Summit. I just want to point you to one tweet. Should have had it ready earlier. It was on my other monitor. And this is right here where we try to tweet out, the news of the market. So this data is coming from Bloomberg. In the last 2 trading days, nearly 30,000 Bitcoin was bought by the 10 new approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. So hopefully the data will be available later today. Right here, even total X GBTC, you can see it on my spreadsheet already. I have it at 28,000. If you sum these up, you get 28,000. BlackRock's responsible for a lot of that. People are saying they've now bought even more. So that is something that is interesting.
Very interesting, mate. Why don't you jump over to the SPY for a second? I'd love to see the pre-market looks like it's opening lower, but if you look at the weekly close that we closed last week on the S&P 500, it's just something to witness.
So the pre-market SPY futures are they're holding steady. They're kind of just going down a bit, but nothing really interesting is happening. It's a holiday weekend. No one's really jumping in on the stock market. Pre-market is being very, very quiet. We did close the week last week at pretty much the highs.
At the highs.
Yes. Well, the swing highs, not the all-time highs, but we're very close to the all-time highs.
Right.
NASDAQ closed at the all-time highs. I think we are going to be breaking the all-time highs later this month. I don't see why the stock market would slow down. Oh, I lost your audio.
Oh, no, I'm back, mate. Sorry, mate.
Oh,
Stop
okay.
that for a second. Yeah. Yeah, all
Okay.
right. So if you like, we can do a bit of a shitcoin Tuesday or crypto Tuesday, just something that we're trying to introduce to the show. Please put your comments below. I know Tone's audience is, and my audience for that matter, all six of them are predominantly not in the shitcoin space, but I think that we should review them as a channel. And I've identified a couple here that I'd like to look at. Don't, if you'll indulge me for a second, mate.
Go for it.
Let's let's go to, we'll start with Ethereum, all right, on the index charts. And I'll do all these on the weekly for a second, just to give a bit of an overview of what I'm seeing. Oh, bloody candle. This is not a real candle, obviously. What I'll do is, look at this. It's like a data feed. If I go to Binance, for example, see, it's correct. But let's
Right.
just like it's looking really good. It's looking really, really good. It's looking really, really good. And I'll have to put on the MRI for you to get your overview of what you're seeing here. This feels like it's almost leading Bitcoin in a sense that this has started its weekly not a star candle here where we're hoping for that in Bitcoin next week. This is what I want to see on Bitcoin next week with that green star candle. But it's happened already on Ethereum. Yes, it's got a longer way to go to be at the same sort of relevance that Bitcoin is at. Really, we should be more like here at 3,400 or something to be at that same kind of structure that Bitcoin's at. But I don't know, mate. Looking at that doesn't look like a slow market. That looks like it's ready to go. What do you think?
Yeah, no, the chart versus the US dollar does look very bullish, but remember, Bitcoin is already above that April swing high, right? So the
Yeah.
price of Bitcoin in US dollars is already where Ethereum was back in April. So Ethereum is still lagging. It's trying to catch up, but I don't know if it'll make it all the way back, I don't know, to that April area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is what we're looking for on alphanumerics on a 4 hour time frame where the wave is green. You want this. This is your buy zone right here. But I mean, I think that it's all correlated, and that's what we'll see with all of these shit coins. I'll blow through a few more. This one, I don't know what this is, and maybe somebody in the group will tell me. But this INJ thing I've been looking at recently because it keeps working with the alphanumerics 4 hour rebuys inside the green wave. It keeps coming up trumps with these, and they'll just keep working and working and working until they stop working, and see like the Lucid Star would change down here. That's continually following the price. So I would just keep taking these buys while it's on offer. It's just money for jam, really. But I mean,
Well, right
again,
now it's on an MRI sell on that hourly chart. So I would be very, very careful. You're getting a red diamond on the weekly. I will get an MRI top here next week on the dollar chart. So whatever this is, INJ, I've never heard of it until a few weeks ago.
mm,
I think this might top. I would also keep an eye on it versus Bitcoin. If it's topping with the MRI versus Bitcoin and versus the dollar next week, I would try to take my profit out of this mess because I think that's going to be a long way down back to $8.
I agree. I agree with all of that. It's absolutely blown up. But what I'm interested in is the structure. I mean, from the green diamond with the different trim points you could have trimmed along the way or have not, it's just, it has gone, that looks parabolic, you know? And then, yes, that would be a red flag for me that this is, I'm not suggesting now is a buy for this thing, but I'm just saying that, like, let's let's take note of how well these are following the system here. And in the future, if this crashes down, I'd be looking for another a weekly green buy or a green diamond or at least a 3 day green diamond to load up on some of this. If people want it, if it's sparking and people are looking at it, I'll keep pushing through because I don't like any of this stuff. I'm just noticing that some of it looks better than it should. This is a great one. This is Solana. Everybody likes Solana, and I've got this line here. We'll go through in a minute. I on this purple line, I've talked about it before. This is when I made the call that I wouldn't touch Solana ever until it came down and got weekly green diamonds, and it got them, and it's had a really good response off that. But this is look how clearly this is following this descending triangle. What would you call that, Tone?
No, I would call that just a downward channel.
A
You can
downward
draw two
channel.
parallel lines. You can draw another parallel line uh,
Mm, going
below
the other
it.
way. Mm.
Yeah, to me, it's a parallel channel. Someone might be able to draw like a symmetric triangle here, but I would not. It still has a chance to go back up, but I would stay with the downward trend for now. Only if it breaks that trend line. I would actually lower the trend line. We're literally sitting right on it. I wouldn't use
Mm.
the top of the wicks. I would use more like the top of the bodies.
I
And
only did that because of how it actually it respected them fairly well, and I know, and I don't think that this is a buy now or anything like that. But if Bitcoin decides to crack on from here and we crack through this line, I could definitely
if
see it
this thing
having
breaks
another push.
$100 on the close, I can definitely see it going to a new dollar high in the
Yeah,
next few months.
yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Awesome. Well, I'm done with talking shit coins because it's not my area. So we could probably wind this show up if you like, mate. What do you want to look at anything else? What do you think?
I was going to look at a couple of commodities since the stock market is not going to be open for another hour and a half.
Let's
So
do
this
it.
could be one of our shorter shows. I saw it in that financial summit tweet that the US dollar is on its death cross for the first time in 12 months. And also cocoa is at a 46-year high. I don't usually see charts like that. So I was curious what that would actually look like. So if I go to the FX tab and we can look at the dollar, well, the dollar might be on a death cross, but on a daily scale, it is sure as hell breaking out. Does this chart look bullish to you, Matt? Look at this. We have the MRI weekly buy, so I can flip to the weekly chart in a second, but also your green diamond is right here inside the green wave. It's your second green diamond. You had one earlier. This US dollar daily chart looks incredibly bullish to me. Today's candle is massively breaking out. If I go to it on the weekly, beautiful MRI top marks the top. The top last year
Look at the bottom
in the
tone.
entire year was on an MRI weekly top candle. The prior MRI buy in 2023 wasn't the ultimate low, but a nice multi-week buy came on an MRI buy. And this is a beautiful hammer candle, as nice as you can get it at the very end of 2023. We are still in that 1 to 4 candle correction to the upside phase. We're probably going to get a green star tomorrow. This is looking very good for me, bullish on the dollar, which means bearish on all the other currencies.
You know why I love that so much? If you flick back to the daily for a second, first of all, MRI once again. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. But if you go back to the daily chart for a second, mate, when that second diamond came in, that that is look how near we are to the to my bias changing to there. That
Right.
That is what I dream of. A significant a significant correction that maintains the overall integrity of the market, but so near to the point where I'm no longer bullish. That is a dream. I love that.
Just wanted to glance at those for a second. Let's go over to commodities.
Nice top.
Oh yeah, I remember the top. Yeah, but this is. Oh yeah, no, I've been talking about the Russian currency and Ukrainian currency on my channel a lot. Look at that. That was actually a 10th consecutive MRI top because the currency was pegged. That's not normal.
No.
I've never seen a 10. I've seen a very famous fifth consecutive MRI top that led to on a weekly scale that led to a 40% correction in 3 weeks. It was I'll show you that chart. It's textbook. And cocoa, where is cocoa? No, that's probably sugar.
61.
That's sugar. Cocoa right there. So we're gonna zoom out to a weekly chart. May need to go to a monthly chart. So wow. So look at
Damn.
that. The sugar prices on chocolate have gone completely mad, and that is an all-time high since 1980. 1980, and remember, this is a commodity where you can technically produce infinite amount of it because you can grow it, and yet there was massive demand for chocolate. I find this super interesting. It's going to come up on a second consecutive MRI top on a monthly. Again, something very, very rare. So just a little TA marvel right here. You break the MRI resistance line near the tops, and boom, off you go on a monthly scale. That is, I remember orange juice was breaking to some ridiculous highs as well. Right? Talk about another commodity that you can technically make an infinite amount of. And then they say there's very little inflation going on when the price of orange juice is at a historic all-time high with a commodity you have infinite supply of. So I find that to be pretty interesting. By the way, that chart, if I go to a weekly scale here, is the CBOE exchange. Man, I love going to this chart as an example of what happens when you have too many consecutive MRI tops. This chart was just on a complete tear between after breaking the all-time high right here in 2016. And look, you had 1, 2, 3, 5 consecutive MRI tops. And then in 2 weeks, it erased like 40%, a 40% crash in 2 weeks. Right on
Just
the fifth MRI top.
if that looks unchartable, because which top do you take? This is when I would look beautifully at alphanumerics and just follow the wave pattern there. I mean, look where like it didn't break the wave. It for all the way through all the 5 of the tops. And then when it finally broke the wave, that for me would be like, all right, I've had enough fun on this thing and be out, you know?
Well, Matt, you actually had a good question. Which top do you take? Well, no one has to short the market, right? So what the MRI top will tell you is that you should take your profit. But then if you never trade the following candle, but if the candle after that is a green star candle, you can go long again in anticipation of the second consecutive MRI top. And you did this 4 times in a row pretty successfully, except maybe here you probably would have gotten stopped out. But along the way, take profit, get back in. 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 Got hit with a stop loss. Maybe you get back in, or you're just staying out of it, and this one just craters you and you're not in the trade.
I don't even
And
think you would have.
if
I
you
don't even
did
think
get in, you take profit.
you wouldn't have even got in off that one, because it wasn't even a green candle, the one that produced that. That's an anomaly in and of itself, that it came with a green star candle on a red, on a green star on a red candle.
A little bit, but this candle still closed above prior candle, and it had a swing high higher than prior candle.
Mm.
So even though it's a red candle, the candle is it's like a gap. So technically, if you use multicolor here, this is a if I use these candles, you can see how it is a green candle in a way, right? So it's a green candle, means it was down during the day, but it was still higher than prior candle. These are the candles I prefer to use, but I know some people, these candles I prefer to use, but on screen share, they don't come out as like, they're harder to see for people on my white backgrounds. So for myself, this is what I would use, but for the benefit of our others, I use these.
And see, in this, I don't trade the stock market like a normal trader. I use the stock market for investing. So I would want to be in a position as long as possible. So I would stay in that entire period. But as soon as that wave turned red, I would have just cleared out on that particular asset. I mean, in theory, you could say it's bullshit what I'm saying, but it's the same methodology that I use on across the board, So it's only in theory. And
And since we are randomly looking at the stock, wow, this chart looks incredibly bullish
it
to me.
looks good
Look,
again. Let's go again. Looks
it
great.
is it is on an all-time high. CBOE has been on an incredible run. This exchange is clearly making money, but got to be careful here. We're on a monthly and a yearly MRI top. So this thing has been on such a tear that it's on a
Yeah.
second monthly consecutive MRI top with extension C. I would be very, very careful this month, even though the weekly is, breaking out of consolidation. I'd wait the rest of the month, but it may be setting up for a third consecutive monthly MRI top. Because again, if you notice, a bunch of these Bitcoin ETFs are on the CBOE exchange. CBOE bought the BATS exchange, and BATS is one of the challengers to the New York Stock Exchange and to the NASDAQ exchange. CBOE owns it. They own the options exchange. They're doing well. So this is a very sound company.
Well, you can see where I would have got in. I would like in theory. Once again, I would have got in back down at what 100 or something. Let's have a look. What's that candle that says
Well, you
bullish on
got
it?
your purple candle right here at
Yeah,
120.
that's reinforcing the fact. But I mean, have a look back where it says bullish. Go back. I don't know how many weeks. Go back 12
Well,
weeks. Yeah, that.
The MRI on a monthly scale would have
Yeah.
gotten me in back in the around the 70, about the $80 mark. Well, probably the candle after around 90, but yeah.
I'm 7 weeks, 7 months later to the party than you are, but I'm still in this trade with nothing to think about today.
Yep. So, yeah, that looks good. And yeah, this is definitely still bullish. I mean, I would be concerned on monthly MRI top and a yearly MRI top as well. I didn't even look at that one. And here we are.
Mm,
Oh, but the yearly
awesome.
has already come and gone. Interesting.
Awesome.
Yep. All right. Any stocks people want us to look at? DYDX. We got maybe 5 more minutes. And then guys, please subscribe while you're watching. Before I look at this, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up. It helps us a lot, especially with this new channel launching. So market cap, DYDX. Crypto total market cap. Look at that. The crypto total market cap, well, I don't know about those candles. They look weird. The total crypto market cap is also on a tear. Wow, look at that. That is a massive breakout. We didn't get to my MRI buy. The MRI support held. That's a massive candle on the crypto. What do you make of this? Like that's a lot of inflows right here this week.
Well, didn't they buy a lot of Bitcoin in the ETFs?
Well, but that was more last week, right? I mean, maybe he's being reflected this week. But the price of Bitcoin didn't go up, right? I think this
No.
is Bitcoin holding steady and shitcoins rising.
Well, I mean, it made sense with those charts we looked at before with the Ethereum and Solana and whatnot. They've had a better week than Bitcoin has thus far. I don't know. I don't look at this, so I don't know. But yeah.
All right, Amazon looks just like the CBOE weekly chart. We had an MRI top, 1 to 4 candle correction, and now last week we closed at a new all-time high for Amazon. Nope, not all-time high, new swing high for Amazon, and we're down a smidge in the pre-market, but I would be bullish Amazon going into the week. I mean, back in the day when I learned to trade, there were several golden rules that I was taught. Never trade the day before or after a holiday. So I would be careful about entering any trades today. But starting tomorrow, if charts look bullish, then I would be very, very bullish on the traditional stock market, especially Meta. Look at that. Wow.
Awesome. Awesome. Looks awesome. These look awesome. These charts look awesome, man. And that yeah, I saw Da Vinci, our friend, put a tweet on X before, put a tweet on X, and he said that correlation with Bitcoin correlation with the S&P 500 or maybe Nasdaq, I can't remember, is at 3 yearly lows, and he said that's bullish. What I don't know what I think about that, but I mean they all look a lot better than even Bitcoin does, and after this week's pullback, last week's pullback. But if Bitcoin can just jump back up above 44 and whatnot, we start to look good again, and all the negativity will go away.
All
All
right,
right.
so what are we doing with our trade, man? This is we're both up by like $1.
Well, I win. That's the end of the show. I win. Thank you, guys. Well, you want to talk longer? I'm happy to call it now on this today's trade and win the show for today. All right,
Yeah, so
give me.
so I only went 25x leverage. My trade is up $18, which means Matt's trade is up closer to $25.
Give me a screen share. That's it. We're calling it. Winner, winner. That's great. That's great. Two in a row. All right, 1 second. BTC USD index charts. By the time I pull this up, I'll probably be down. Yeah, it's gone down a little bit, but I think it's the same point. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we go over to the board. I'm off ears for a second. Can't hear you. Matt goes off. One more. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, Tone, would you like to introduce the show's going to change? We're not doing. Oh, I'm going to do it now. We're not going to do daily trading anymore. We're going to put on a trade right now at the end of every show, and then we'll close it at the start of the next show. It gives it more of time to breathe, 24 hours between trades, and I think that's more interesting. So, Tone, are you long or short still? What do you think?
All right, so are you gonna change your leverage on yours, right? So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
open
I'm
close
changing my
one more
leverage.
time. I'm gonna drop my leverage. I'm gonna glance at the chart.
Me
I
too.
think for this trade, I'm gonna open the 4-hour chart and make my decision based off of a 4-hour chart. Okay, and then I will explain my reasoning. Matt, you put in your leverage?
I'll do it now, mate. But I'm very interested. I'm captivated with what you're going to say.
All right. So I am gonna stick with the bullish trade. I like this 4-hour candle breakout. It's a brand new week. I think the stock market will do well. The current, let's use like round numbers,
100.
43,100. Our starting price is 43,100. And for the next 24 hours, I would rather be bullish Bitcoin than short Bitcoin, and I'm going to be responsible, and I'm only going to go 10x leverage because it's a 24-hour trade, and I don't want to come back to losing thousands of dollars.
All right. All right. Give me the screen share. Believe it or not, dear listeners, I am going to let it ride at 30x with 100 because I would rather lose $1,000 at this point. I'm that bullish on the price of Bitcoin.
See,
My
damn, if we ended the show right now, I would be winning this trade.
But interesting to note, okay, if I hide, okay, right now all my drawings, this if we come down throughout the night, this is the risk, and we hit the bottom of this candle right here at that red line, I am liquidated from this position.
That's right.
So if we wick down, whipping, it doesn't matter if we go to the moon at that point, I lose this competition. So this is I'm either going to win by a massive margin 3 times your margin, I'm just gonna lose, big time lose. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for always watching. Please look down in the description. We've got links to 2bit and BitGet. Great exchanges that we use. That trade I'm on right now is on 2bit. I think it's a fantastic exchange. Please like us and subscribe to the show. Share it with your friends. We'll be here again same time tomorrow night. We love bringing you these shows. It's been an absolute joy.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for hosting.
Thanks, Tone. Cheers, mate.